Hi guys, thanks for coming back. It's Matt here again with mywebbro.com, and today I want to take a look at one of those websites, actually two of those websites that we found on the top 100 websites ranked by monthly visitors. It was a Quantcast list that we looked at last week. So the last place website was Lifehacker.com, and that kind of surprised me because it's just a blog. And then I did a little bit more research and realized how big of a company owns Lifehacker and Gizmodo. So the top 100 websites, that's this list that we looked at here, and you can see Lifehacker has actually jumped 4 spots to 97th spot at 14,400,000, and then Gizmodo is found right up here. You can see them, where are they? Right here at 19,056,000 monthly visitors. So that's very impressive that a website that just hosts blog content can be getting that many visitors monthly. So let's look at how they're doing that. When we land on the website, we find this very simple, very elegant blog. And so this is not a WordPress blog anymore. It looks like a WordPress blog, but this is a company that's gone past that, and now they're using what's called Foundation and the Amazon Cloud to host all this content. And they host content on a number of network websites. I think there's 6 or 7 of them that you saw at the top of the header of this website. So they're generating, between those 5 or 6 different websites, they're generating roughly between 100 and 125 million unique page visits to those 5 or 6 websites. So why do they do that? Well, it's to generate obviously a lot of advertising revenue. So you can tell while we're looking at this website, every once in a while an advertisement pops up, and these advertisements are the bread and butter for these blogs. It's why a company like Univision, or why a company like Sony, for example, would get involved in this kind of content creation. So these little ads on the side here are run for the most part through what's called Google double clicks, and we can take a look very quickly at like I said, at the header I want to show you, where we can see all the network of all the different websites that they run. So Lifehacker has all these different categories, and then there's these other websites that you may or may not have heard of that are also generating a lot of unique monthly page views. And again, this is exactly the same concept as like a magazine. An old magazine subscription had subscribers because there were advertisers that put advertisements in these magazines. The content was interesting, and people would flip through the pages and see the advertisements. And that's exactly what's happening here with Lifehacker and Gizmodo. So we just looked at Lifehacker. Now let's very quickly, and it shouldn't be a surprise to you, but let's very quickly look at Gizmodo. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So they've just copied the exact same format, and then they're running that format through all 6 or 7 of their network websites. So it really is a case of copying the big dog. And so in this case, they own all these websites, and so they have a lot of content creators that come in. I read an article that said Lifehacker does between 12 and 18 updates per day to their blog. So it's a constant stream of content coming out of these different organizations. So I want to show you very quickly. We can pretty much tell when we look at Lifehacker, and we can tell when we look at Gizmodo, that they're owned by the same company, because they're running essentially the exact same website, just with a different logo and different content and different categories. So right here is where we can see they're built with profile. We see they're running on a varnished server. MailChimp is going to be the primary means of marketing. In other words, you land on Lifehacker, right? Your very first call to action, you notice, is a very simple and elegant subscribe button. All they want is your email address. Why? Because your email address is very valuable nowadays. Every time they send an update to your email address, that update comes with advertisements. They can charge advertisers for those views. If they hit the jackpot, you click on something, let's say you buy a big screen TV, they get credit. Back in the back, way in the back, someone there can see that television got bought after they just got done reading an article at Lifehacker and clicked on a Vizio advertisement, and they bought a 60-inch television online. So that stuff all comes full circle. So we can see Lifehacker and Gizmodo running the exact same build. Literally, it's a copy. It is a copy. They are copies of each other. So I did a little bit of research on Wikipedia about Lifehacker, where I learned that they started in 2005, 12 years ago. It was one girl who was just blogging interesting things, interesting ways to improve your life, tips and tricks to improve your life. And then she hired two people. Then they were acquired eventually by Gawker Media, who is now owned by Univision. So they started in 2005. Gizmodo actually started way sooner, way earlier than that, in 2002. So that's pretty cool. The guy who started Gizmodo, his name is Peter Rojas. He actually left Gizmodo to start another website that I bet you've heard of called Engadget. So I want to take a quick look at one of these things here that Gizmodo and Lifehacker do, right? Because their primary source of revenue is collecting information about users. So I was just at recently at a website, at Dell's website, looking at laptops. I have to replace my wife's laptop. So my computer remembers that I was looking at Dell's website, and then when I come here to Lifehacker and I'm doing something, they kind of know. There's ways for them to know, I should say, without getting too crazy into the details. There's ways for them to know that I was just looking at a Dell laptop. And so then if they're able to feed me another advertisement for a laptop and then they can get credit for that sale, it's very powerful, and it generates hundreds of billions of dollars, I would say, in revenue across the internet. That concept where someone came from somewhere, so now you know what they're into, show them an advertisement, they click the ad, they buy it, or they don't. So here Gizmodo, they talk about, at Wikipedia, they talk about how Gizmodo was started in 2002, like I said, and then he went on to start Engadget. So what's actually interesting about these companies that are based primarily on collecting information is they're running what's called a P3P, a platform for privacy preferences. You can see here. So what this is essentially is, instead of when you go to Lifehacker, you do get a box, and this box is going to be the terms and conditions of Lifehacker. If you subscribe, you're subscribing to their terms and conditions. Now they can remember that you've agreed to these terms and conditions when you visit any of their network websites. That way, you will forget that you've agreed to those terms and conditions, and you'll end up at the next website, and then they don't have to offer you those terms and conditions again because your machine and your user preferences have been remembered. So P3P is going to become a more important technology as we get into this data acquisition, where we're collecting mass amounts of data about these consumers. When they're just on a website reading about cleaning stainless steel refrigerators or whatever they're reading about. So I wanted to take a look at the actual numbers for Gizmodo monthly: 41.5 million global unique views. So I mean, you can imagine if you are a company that has a product that it wants to be seen, you want to be on a website like Gizmodo advertising that product, and it's not cheap, and it's there's a lot of competition. That's why you're going to find on these websites. I mean, who are the advertisers on these websites? Big dogs like Whirlpool. You know, who is the other one? KitchenAid. So funny. I don't know why these advertisements are all for appliances right now. I think it's because I was recently looking for wedding gifts for my little brother, so it thinks that I'm on the market for my computer. Literally thinks I'm in the market for appliances, and I'm not. So it's kind of annoying, but that's how it works. Here, Lifehacker, you can see 26.2 million global unique views. So when I ran the Gizmodo query here for websites, it shows me right here all of the Gizmodo websites: the Gizmodo, Lifehacker, The Root, Deadspin, Jezebel, Jalopnik. So in here you can see monthly views and global views, US and global. This is massive. This is a massive way or means of exposing your products and services to the public. Way bigger than any magazine subscription could ever be, way bigger than any television show, way bigger than any form of entertainment could ever be. These forms of entertainment now are dominating the advertising scene. So that guy who started Gizmodo and started Engadget, Well, they're not quantifying. They're not quantifying in the Quantcast analytics. Maybe for good reason. That competition might be pretty fierce, and they may not want to disclose all that information about their company. But you can see here that they are ranked 693. That's an Alexa ranking. So they've gone a different route. They're definitely not getting as many viewers as the Univision sites are, but we can't tell exactly how many they're getting. This number 2.5 million is most likely not accurate. So I wanted to show you very quickly some of the analytics, very powerful analytics that you can find in here. You know, this website, let's say your product is specifically for males, right, that are the age of 25 to 34. Well, you're falling right into the demographic that this website hits the hardest. You could tell Hispanics hit Gizmodo.com really hard. So taking a look at even just some very simple analytics like these, a company can start to brainstorm about where they're going to spend some marketing money. You can see mobile and desktop. I have to sign in to see engagement, but here you can see shopping interests. So it's very interesting to see what people who visit Gizmodo are into, you know? Audis, Infinitis, Lincolns, Mercedes, and BMWs. I mean, if that's not a target market for your products and services, I don't know what is, you know? It's like media interests, so science programs, Spanish language TV network. And so you can actually find some interesting insights in here, as well as some of the more dull ones. But I just wanted to give you a good look here at what some of these big blog companies are doing and why they're doing it. And you can see here what they're doing, and you can see why they're doing it. So general interests, computers and technology, science, arts and entertainment. So, and you can see this exact same statistics for Lifehacker, and you can look up just about any website that's on the Quantcast that's being quantified by Quantcast. So, you guys, it was awesome. I'm so glad I got a chance to show you these Univision blog websites that are generating millions and millions, hundreds of millions of unique monthly page views, visitors. And this is just another way for you to expose your products and services to the public, would be to advertise online on a network of websites that you know is being viewed by the target market or the audience that buys your products and services. So have a great day. Thanks for coming back. Bye.